The most dangerous lie hidden in the modern system is the glorification of patience. From childhood, you were conditioned to wait your turn, pay your dues, and climb the ladder step by agonizing step. But here is the dark reality. Patience is not a virtue, it is an institutional delay tactic. The system rewards patience because compliant followers who wait are easy to manage. The elite 1%, however, do not wait for a timing slot. They engineer a bypass protocol. They know that while you are waiting for your turn, the architects of the game are rewriting the rules. It is time to stop waiting and start accelerating. The system loves a patient professional because a patient professional is predictable, static, and easily managed. Society dresses patience up as a core virtue, a golden rule of maturity. But in reality, it operates as a velvet cage. It is a psychological pacifier engineered to neutralize your aggressive ambition before it can disrupt the status quo. When you accept the mandate to wait your turn, you are actively consenting to your own professional decay. Your raw drive is slowly eroded by comfortable compliance, turning your active hunger into passive anticipation. Elite masters recognize this trap instantly. They understand that prolonged waiting doesn't build character, it builds institutional dependency. The velvet cage feels secure, but its true architectural purpose is to keep you safely, paralyzed while others dictate the game. To break free, you must reject patience as a moral duty and recognize it as a mechanism designed to freeze your trajectory. Moving from societal constructs to neuroscience, we must analyze the severe biological toll of waiting. Your brain thrives entirely on momentum. When you conceive a high-stakes idea or identify a strategic opportunity, your neural pathways fire with dopamine, the neurotransmitter of pursuit and execution. However, when you suppress that immediate impulse under the guise of patience, you trigger a profound dopamine drought. Continuous delayed execution actively rewires your brain, conditioning your neural field networks to associate ambition with frustration and paralysis rather than reward. Over time, your cognitive edge blunts, and your mind settles into a state of chronic operational stagnation. The elite 1% refuse to allow their neurobiology to be frozen by bureaucratic timelines. They understand that speed is not just a tactical advantage. It is a neurological necessity to maintain high cognitive drive. By executing instantly, they sustain the psychological fire required to dismantle systems. If the line is engineered to slow you down, staying in it is a mathematical failure. The average professional believes that the only legitimate way to advance is to wait in the queue, moving sequentially behind the person in front of them. The master, however, implements the bypass protocol. Line cutting is not an ethical breach, it is a sophisticated strategic metric. It requires you to look at the entire system from a high-status perspective, identify the systemic gaps, and forge a completely new trajectory that renders the line irrelevant. This is where hybrid excellence manifests. By blending separate, unrelated disciplines, you create a unique value proposition that allows you to leapfrog over entire tiers of middle management. While the compliant crowd watches the back of each other's heads, the sovereign architect cuts through the noise. You don't ask for permission to pass. You engineer a reality where the line no longer applies. True authority is never forged in stagnation. It is seized through calculated velocity. The legacy system trains you to practice passive waiting, telling you that timing is everything, but waiting for the perfect timing is a coward's trap. Elite masters replace this passivity with strategic urgency. Calculated velocity does not mean reckless running. It means the deliberate, high-speed execution of high-stakes decisions before the environment can adapt or resist. When you operate with intense momentum, you dictate the tempo of the room, forcing your competitors and the institutional machine into a defensive, reactive posture. You compress timelines that take ordinary organizations years into a matter of weeks, while the patient masses are still analyzing variables and waiting for consensus. Your calculated speed has already shifted the ground beneath their feet. In the arena of elite mastery, velocity is the ultimate currency. You become the disturbance that forces the sea to move. The corporate ladder is perhaps the greatest structural illusion ever engineered. We are taught to look upward at the rungs, believing that hard work and patience will naturally guarantee our ascent. What they hide from you is that the ladder is deliberately built as a narrow bottleneck. It is an architectural mechanism designed specifically for crowd control, ensuring that the vast majority of professionals remain tightly packed, competing fiercely for the exact same microscopic crumbs of advancement. The ladder exists to keep you looking down at your feet and up at the person directly above you, completely blinding you to the vast horizontal landscape of true opportunity. Elite masters reject the ladder entirely. They don't climb it. They step off it and build their own scaffolding. They understand that trying to win a game within a rigged bottleneck is a fool's errand. By recognizing the ladder as a control mechanism, you detach your psychology from the artificial metrics of corporate titles. You transition from a compliance-driven climber to an autonomous engineer who constructs their own vertical path, completely bypassing the congested, desperate crowd below. The ultimate realization of the elite rebellion is the reclamation of your time. The world around you moves at a manufactured, slow-motion pace, governed by committees, compliance protocols, and legacy red tape designed to ensure absolute conformity. The patient professional allows their life's work to be dictated by this sluggish institutional clock. But the sovereign professional establishes an independent timeline. This profound psychological shift occurs when you permanently rewire your brain to stop, syncing with the external tempo of the crowd. You realize that your career, your vision, when your empire cannot be left at the mercy of bureaucratic consensus. By combining neuroscience, calculated velocity, and the bold execution of the bypass protocol, you gain the power to dictate your own speed. When the system says a project takes a year, you execute it in a month. When the hierarchy dictates you need a decade of experience, you command the room through absolute mastery in a fraction of that time. You no longer ask how long a process takes. You decide how fast it will bend to your will. This is the zenith of professional sovereignty, operating on a completely different temporal plane than the masses. While the slow-motion world is still waiting for permission, checking boxes, and standing in lines, you have already built, conquered, and solidified your domain. The tyranny of patience ends the moment you realize that time doesn't belong to the system, but belongs entirely to the architect who dares to seize it.